Welcome back to my channel. My name is Evans, a full stack software developer, and in our last two videos we've been creating a robust employee detail model, which is our database field that is going to capture the employee information such as their biodata, their contact information, employment information. We also created a function that generates employee ID automatically by concatenating the first three digits of the organization and then generating random 10-digit number to it. And we've registered our models in our admin.py file. We've added record. This is our department model, and then this is our employee details model. I also showed how to use the Django country API to populate country list. So when you want to select nationality, it's gonna give you a drop down of all the nationalities. I also showed how to declare a list of tuples to select objects such as gender, country list if you want to work with predefined countries, and employment type, full-time, part-time contract, and all the rest. So we're just gonna quickly modify this. I think we need to add additional information section to our employee details model, and I want to capture the next of kin. So I'm just gonna put a comment, additional information. So I'm gonna say next underscore of kin equals models dot character field, max length equals, I'm gonna say 200. So it's gonna be the full name of the next of kin. Then I'm gonna say next of kin contacts equals models dot character fields. I'll call this phone, models dot character field, max length equals 30, and then I'll say next of kin. Let me just copy this. Next of kin address equals models dot character field, max length. So I'm gonna make this 250. So it's gonna take up to 250 characters. And then relationship equals models dot character field, max length equals 100. So relationship to the employer, if they are spouse, brothers, friends, or whatever. So this is the first changes I want to make, or addition I want to make. And so when you add any field to your model, you need to run the migrate command again. So I'm gonna go to file, click on save all, and then I'll go to my terminal. I'll just kill the terminal, go back to terminal, new terminal, and then Python manage.py make migrations. Now, because we already have our database tables with some information already, which does not have this next of kin phone, next of kin address, it's saying it is impossible to add a non-nullable field next of kin to employee details without specifying a default value. So the best way to address this is we need to stop this first and then come to this point and say null equals true, blank equals true as well. This is because we already have existing record. our tables that we've already created does not have next of kin phone, and relationship and address. So now we are adding more fields to the already existing tables, and those fields cannot be null if you don't specify that they are null and blank equals true, because Django will be looking for record for these fields that we are creating. So by adding null equals true, blank equals true, it's gonna work. So it's just gonna add these fields to that existing record with empty values. So we have to do this first and then run the migration. When the tables have been created, we can now remove this null equals true, blank equals true. And of course, some people don't have next of kin. So making this null equals true, blank equals true is also correct. So whoever have next of kin can add. If you don't have next of kin, you can just leave it. And I'm gonna add this as well. And then what some people do sometimes, if they run into issues like this, if they don't have enough information on their database, they will just delete their database and recreate it again. That is also gonna work. Now I've added all this. Go back to file, click on save all, and then you go back to your terminal, new terminal, and then you type python manage.py, make migrations all over again. Python manage.py, make migrations. And then it has made the migrations. You type python manage.py migrate. So once the migration is complete, if you want this field to be mandatory field, at this point you can take this null equals true off, blank equals true off, and everything is gonna work. So let's go into our server to see if we have those fields now. So python manage.py, run server. Now my server is up and running, so I'm just gonna refresh my page and then go in here. So let's see now. Here you go. We have next of kin phone, next of kin address, and relationship, that are all empty. So this is a robust employee record management database that we've just created. Now we need to make everything more robust, so we need to create a new table or a new model. We've created our first model for employee details, which captures the employee informations, and then we've created a model for departments. Now let us create a model for skills. So we say class skills. Skills. Remember Pascal casing while naming your model class in Django. Now you type models dot model. Now what field do I need to type? I will say name equals models dot char field. Models dot char field max length equals 200. And I'll say unique equals true because I don't want the same skills to be repeated. I want just one skill name for each skill. And I'll say description equals models dot, I'm gonna use text field because I want a bigger field, for inputting the information. And then for this you don't need to state max length because text field is designed to hold a large amount of data. And then I need a string representation for my skills as well. Now you say def underscore underscore str underscore underscore parenthesis self semicolon enter return self dot name. That's all. So this is for the HRO department to manage the skills of the employees. So on our front end, when you come to this skills page, you can add skills that is needed. Maybe we need skills for the IT department. We need someone that knows C Sharp or Java or Django, web development, mobile development, and all those skills. And then these skills as well, we need the departments. We need departments. So these skills is for which department? We need to state that. So I'll say department. I'm just gonna abbreviate it. Depth equals models dots many to many field. Many to many field. So which departments is gonna be departments? So yeah. So I'm trying to say when you're adding skills, you should be able to select the department that you're adding the skills for. And department is already populated here. And so for this as well, I'm also gonna put this in quotes. So if for any reason department does not exist, then there will not be error. It will just tell you no department to select from. But if you don't do this, if you remove the quotes, it means department must exist for you to select one from. But with this, whether it exists or not, it's gonna work. Now I'm gonna add max length. Max underscore length equals, let me just make it 200, and then I'm gonna say null equals true. It can be null, it can be empty. Skills can just be there without being attached to any department. Blank equals true. So this is our model for our skills. The human resource management can use to add skills, for every department. Now I need another model for training. So in the organization that most of you work, you'll see that if you go to your dashboard, you'll see maybe they scheduled it for a training. So the human resource team need to add available training in the organization, the dates, the type of training, and stuff like that. So while hiring an employee, you can determine what skills are needed for this role. What skills does a person need? And then you can enroll the person for that training. So just like our skills model, we'll define a class. I will say, call it training models dot model colon. Now the training, I will say name equals models dot character field. Max length equals name of the training, 200 is okay. Yeah. Then I will say training provider equals models dot char field. Max underscore length equals 200. This video about model is very long and it's intentional. I can decide to just create model for 3 fields and carry on with the project, but my goal is to make sure that I cover as much as possible. And if you actually sit down and type all these codes that we've generated for our models.py, you're gonna master models in Django and Python. Now I've done for training provider. I'm gonna say training location, training underscore location equals models dot char field. Max length equals 200. Now I'm gonna use choices field for this, so it's gonna be a drop down. Choices equals I'm just say all training location. I'll call it whatever I want. So I'm gonna create this choices field. Just come to this place, paste it, just the way we did with our gender and country and all the rest. Square brackets, in here parenthesis. Now quotes. So I'm gonna say premise. So premise, the training is gonna be within the organization. Premise. Now let me just say on site is much more better. On site. Now the next one is gonna be remote, comma, remote. And some training can be hybrid. So I'm gonna say hybrid, comma, you can use whatever you want, hybrid. Yeah, that's all. So this training location is gonna be a drop down menu and you can select one of these. Let me make everything uniform, hybrid. Training location. Now the next thing I need is duration. Duration equals models dot date field. Coming. Let me say duration field. I'll call it models or duration field. That's all. So it's gonna select the length of the duration, and then start underscore dates equals models dot date field. That's it. Now this is sufficient. So this is the HR department is gonna use this model to create all available training for the organization. I need to add department as well. This training is for which department? Training underscore depth equals, guess what, I'm gonna use many to many relationship as well. Models dot many to many field. So it's gonna be your many to many field will be your department field, so that you can pick department as well. Just the way these skills, we did it here, so we also have to do it for the training. So each training should be tied to a department, and I'm using many to many field because two departments can require the same training. That's why it's many. Assuming we want one department to be tied to just one training, we'll use one to one field. But now we are using many to many. So in here as well, I'll put it in a quote. So in the event that department does not exist, it's not gonna result to an error. So exactly the same thing. Max length equals 200. Then I'm gonna say null equals true. In case we don't want to tie it to any department, blank equals true as well. That's all we need to do. And then we need to define our string representation just the way we did here. So to speed up everything, I'm just gonna copy this, come down to this point. So what do I want to return? I want to return, take care of your indentation. So I want to return self dots, it can be name. Yeah, so training also have a name, so training name self.name. So this is fine. Now we need another model called employee skill. Now I'm trying to make this as robust as possible to capture both the model to register the employee and also human capital management. So these are some of the models that we create while developing an HR management application. So I'm gonna call this employee skill class employee skill. So this is a skill that the employee has during onboarding. So you want to hire someone and then you want to document the skill that the person have, you know. So employee skill, and then same thing, models dot model. So what are the fields I want to capture? I want to capture employee. Employee equals models dot, now it's gonna be, I'm gonna say models dot foreign key. So I'll use this employee models dot foreign key, this employee details. So while creating the employee skill, when you want to add an employee skill, you should be able to select the person you're creating it for. That's what it means. So in here, we're using a foreign key. It means each record in this employee skills is related to a record in employee details. That's what it means. Now you say on delete equals models dot cascade. Now in here I'm saying on delete equals models dot cascade. So it means when this employee has been deleted, his skills should also be deleted, or their skills should also be deleted. That is what it means. So there is no point if an employee is no longer with the company and you've deleted the employee record from this employee details table, and then you still retain their skill here. So it should also be deleted. There are instances when you can say models dot do nothing, when it can keep the record, maybe for audit purpose, but in this case I want to use models dot cascade. Now the next field I want to pick is skill equals exactly the same thing. I will say models dot foreign key skills, these skills. So let me change it not to confuse you. Skills obtained equals models dot foreign key skills. So we don't want a situation whereby when you type in the skills of the employee, you will now select whatever you want or type whatever you want. Maybe the employee says he has skills in aeronautic engineering, but is applying for an IT role. We don't need skills in aeronautic engineering. We want to only select skills that are related to an IT role. And so we've already imputed all the skills that we need for our organization and our company. So these skills obtained by the employee should only be one of the skills that is specified in our skills model or our skills table. So we have a list of skills that we want for our company: Django skills, Python skills, HTML, Bootstrap, React.js, Node.js, and all the rest. So what are the skills that this employee have? It has to be a drop down from this skills record, and then we start selecting the skills that they have. This is what it means. Now you also say on delete equals models dot cascade. So whenever the skill is deleted, it should also delete this record completely. Now you can decide to set max length, or you just leave it like that. So I'm doing it the both ways so you understand everything better. Now I want to determine the proficiency level of the skills that the employee have. So I'm gonna create a field called proficiency underscore level equals, I'll say models dot character field max length equals 200, and then I'm gonna use choices field so that it's gonna be a drop down. So when you use foreign key, you use one to one field, you use one to many field or many to many field, they are all drop down, you know. So this choices field, I'm gonna create my choices. I'm gonna call it, come to this place, I'm gonna call it um, knowledge level. I'm gonna define a list. Then inside my list, I'm gonna define a tuple. Knowledge level equals, I will say advanced, comma, advanced. Put a comma because this is a tuple. I'm just gonna duplicate this. Beginner, mid-level, mid-level. Beginner, beginner. That's it. Now I need to select this knowledge level. So choices equals knowledge level. So this field is going to be a drop down menu that would allow the user select any of these options. So using drop down menu make sure that our data is more validated and we are reducing the chances of error, typographical errors and all the rest. The user just have to click the drop down menu and select an option here. Now you need to define your string representation as well. So I'm just gonna copy this to make everything much more faster, and then I'll come to this point and paste it. So define stro self.name, but we don't have name here, so I'm gonna say self dot this is a foreign key. I'm gonna say yeah, foreign key will work, so I'm gonna say self dot employee, and then self dot skills obtained. I'll put this in an f string, so everything is gonna work very well. So I'll say return f string, then curly brace, self dot employee, close the curly brace, and then dash curly brace again, self dot skills obtained, and then I will put this in, close this. So this will display as the employee dash and then the skills. So this is for our employee skill model, and then let's create another one. We'll create a model for job requirements, so the skills that are required for each job description. So same thing, class, I'll call it job requirements. I'll say models.model, just the way we've been doing, and then job title. I think this is getting too much. Let me just stop it here. Let me stop it here. Let me stop it here. And so my video is not going to be too long. This is okay. Whatever more additional field you want to add, you can add it, but I could have maybe on your own you can add the model for job requirements, and then also add maybe for training needs. What are the training that the employee needs, and then you create the class and the model for it as well. So with this now, just go to your file, click on save all, and then we added new models, so we need to migrate our changes. So go back to your terminal and then click on your terminal, Yeah, and then type python manage.py make migrations, and press enter. And then you type python manage.py migrate. Now we need to add all this new model we've created on our admin.py file, otherwise we're not gonna see it on our admin dashboard. So we've done that for departments. I'm going to copy skills. I'll go to my admin.py file, and then you have to import it. So comma import, comma, go back to your models. The next one is training. The next one is employee skills. That's it. However, you can also import everything from your model by saying from .models import asterisk, import all. So if you do this, you don't need to start importing the models one after the other. So this is gonna import everything for you. But I love doing mine like this, so that from here I can just copy these skills, copy it, and come down here where you registered it. You say admin dot sites dot register skills. Now you do the same thing for training. Admin dot sites dot register training. You do the same thing for employee skills. Admin dot sites dot register. Yeah, that's it. Now for these ones that we created, skills, training, employee skills, we've not created this class, the employee detail class. These other classes that will perform list display for us, list editable, and list link. On your own you can decide to create them. So once you create a class for any of them, you come to this place, put a comma, you put the name of the class just the way we did for register. Admin does just the way we did for employee details and departments. So I'm just gonna leave it like this. So with this, it will display on our admin dashboard. It's just going to display what you returned here. Now we need to run our server to see the changes. Don't forget to save your changes, save all, and then now go to these three dots, run, no, terminal, new terminal, and then type python manage.py run server. Copy this URL, copy, go to your web browser, paste it, and then come here, type admin, press enter. Now you see we have departments, we have employee details, we have employee skills, we have skills. Skill is all the skills that are required by the organization. We have skills. If you click on it, you can add a new skill. Trainings, you can add training, all the training that the organization is offering. For our skills, remember we made this a text field, that's why it's bigger. And then you can see that this has double S, because we've not defined our verbose name. Now go back to the code, and then if you come to this point, where we did for employee details, you're gonna see where we declared class meta. You can just copy this and then go to your skill model. This is it, skill model. In here, paste it and modify it. So verbose name will be, I'll just call it skills. Skills. Verbose name plural as well, skills. So this is gonna make it uniform. Click on save all, go back to your admin site and then refresh the page. So you see it's skills. Trainings, if you want to change this as well, you can declare a verbose name. So in these lectures, I've taught how to create a robust employee record management system by creating a robust database that covers employee details registration, how to generate unique employee ID by concatenating the name of the organization and randomly generating 10 digits to create an employee ID, which we did here. I also showed you how to use the Django country API to generate the list of all the countries. So when you are registering an employee into the database, you don't need to start typing the countries because you can make mistake. Rather, you can just click and select the country from the drop down. I have shown you how to create the department class, the department model, how to create the skills model, training model, employee skills, and yeah. So from our next lectures, we're gonna use serializers, to help fetch our record from the back end to our front end. We're gonna use Axios, and then we're gonna keep on building our front end using React.js. Thank you very much, and bye bye.